All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there are multiple mediums on which you can access this content. So today is Wednesday, July 16th. Interesting day. Boring. Nothing about the money. Oh well, this is gonna be. I'm gonna demythify. Yeah, that's not a word, I know, but I just said it. Because some people out here act like they have super secret information, and we all look at the same articles. It's just crazy. So, we're going to do that, but first, I always have to say the best way to access the content is to go to the blog, the free blog. You don't even have to put your email address in. And how you access that is it's parked at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com, but that's a lot to remember or to type in. So wherever you are listening or viewing this, look for a prompt of more info, intro, description, something of that nature. If you tap on that, another box will open. The link directly to the blog, which you see here if you're watching the video, will be there. And you just click on it and it'll take you here. And again, I urge you, yesterday's episode was Iraqi parallel market finally breaks 1400. Yay! What's next? But the reason I'm bringing up yesterday's is at the very bottom, there's an interview with the guy from Epicure. There it is. So you would go to yesterday's, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there it is. It's 15 minutes, and it's in English, and it's very eye-opening. All right? So I suggest you do that. All right. So today, we'll get with this. IMF explains Iraq's exchange rate arrangement. This is nothing new. It's not even anything to be excited about. Remember last week, the IMF did their yearly Article IV Consultation report, and I skimmed over it and I said it's not a very favorable one, but there was a portion where they talked about the parallel market exchange rate and how they were getting it under control. Okay, now this is not about the parallel market exchange rate, but IMF explains Iraq's exchange rate agreement. So if you want to read this, you can. And it's this guy, this website, a lot of us go here because he puts a lot of the business deals that are being done. But see, he's figuring out that if he puts certain titles, headlines on his website, people will go visit it. And then he gets lots and lots of money when he gets lots and lots of visitors, right? So, and he may genuinely be trying to be helpful also. But, do you really care about the de facto exchange rate? I don't know. Maybe you do. But you see, when this was set up, it went into effect February 8th, 2023. So, like I said, it's nothing new, but he's doing this possibly for new people, whatever. And what he does is he references a different report that came out. It's 64 pages. You see that? The original one, the one that was originally covered, was, I think, 2 pages because it was a summary. So he has gone through the very detailed report and he's pulling out portions and highlighting them. And he didn't even really explain anything. He just pretty much copy and pasted what was here. See? Exchange rate agreement. 1320. There's the date. So none of this is new. All right? But, so if you want to see that for yourself, you can't put a link. It downloads. It automatically downloads. So, but if you want to read and see the whole 64 pages, what did I do? What did I put here? See, he even says, as part of a follow-up to last week's report on the state of the Iraqi economy, the IMF clarified as follows. And he has that. And here, click here to download the full report. And it just downloads, so if you have one of those programs that checks everything to make sure that it doesn't have a virus, as soon as you click that link right there, it's immediately going to download. Okay? Now, what could be exciting is I haven't watched it yet, but the person who told me, I trust them, they said they watched Frank 26's presentation for today, and Eddie, the guy that's in Iraq, said they're talking about this on their TV. Now, if that's true, that's exciting because that means they're teaching the citizens. They're doing citizen education about the exchange rate, what gives them the right to change the exchange rate, and why would they be doing that if they weren't going to change the exchange rate? I know I'm still September, October, but that's why I said if, because sometimes Eddie doesn't understand what he's looking at either. So, I don't want to get too excited or too roller coastery. But if that's true, if they are talking about this to the citizens on the TV, then that is great. And I hope it is true. All right. So yeah. So there's all of that. So it's nothing new. It's nothing hidden. It's nothing super secret. I didn't want to talk about it because it's nothing new. And most people don't really care to get so, what do they say, deep in the woods on things like this, right? Okay, so there you have that. So now we'll go to the next article. Learn about the details of the new financial agreement between Baghdad and Erbil. So, is it really new? Well, remember I said I thought this number was new. And they're going to send over 240 billion dinars. The agreement stipulates that the Kurds will hand over 240 billion dinars in revenue for May and June. So that's the back pay that Epicur wanted to know when they were going to get paid and how they were going to get paid, right? And then in addition, they would hand over 230,000 barrels of oil per day to Baghdad in exchange for the salaries, also for the people, for 2 months. So it does seem they've made some headway, but there's still nothing formal. At least today, they're not saying. Remember, yesterday they were like, "No, we don't have an arrangement. We don't have an agreement." Now they're putting it out. The agreement is out, and they're saying, "Okay, well, we have to have this meeting tonight. This group is having a meeting, and then there's this other meeting that's going to happen in 2 days." So maybe by then, right, they'll be able to disclose everything. But it's all good. I think it's all good as far as that is concerned. So I wanted to show you, I don't know who these people are. Oh, it's cut off. Well, let's see. It's Argus. Argus. Never heard of them, but latest market news, and they're featuring the agreement. No, excuse me. No, they're not. They're not featuring the agreement. So, what they're talking about, oh, here it is, about Argus. Remember I said there were some cones, phones that targeted oil fields? Well, guess what? They were American operated oil fields. Okay. So, Apicur is like, okay, you're not protecting our interests, so guess what? We're going to shut down. Yeah. So, another 200,000 barrels per day will not be processed because of the issue that happened. Okay. So, here they even talk about individual members of Epicur, but let me go over here because this is actually on the blog. So this came out this evening. All right, so if you want to read that, you can. You probably don't. But the latest aggression on Wednesday targeted these 3 fields. And who operates them? HKN Energy. That's the one that just made the deal with the Kurds, and then yesterday they were there and made a deal with Baghdad, right? And this is also in Texas. And then I don't know about that, but whatever. So yeah, but the good thing is, don't get down. I'm not down. They know what's going on. And we'll get to, let's see, both sides were reportedly here. Both sides were reportedly close to a breakthrough in negotiations that could allow for the resumption of exports and a resolution to the salary dispute. So, like I was saying, hopefully, Sudani and those who could make a wrong move understand these are just people who don't want the rate change that we're all waiting for to go through. So it's a last-ditch effort to interfere. They're very openly saying that they are Iranian-backed, operating in Iraq. So there's no secret, even though no specific group has taken responsibility or, said, yeah, we did it. It's kind of like a consensus that that's what's happening because we are closer, at least according to the articles and the information they're putting in the articles regarding the oil agreement, right? We are closer than we've been. All right, so let's move on. The Minister of Finance reveals the reason for delay in approving the budget. Not really. They're working to complete the budget schedules. Yeah, but come on now. We know better than that, right? We know better than that. So now this, if you could read this article, this, in fact, I was going to make this the star article, but the title is pretty boring, and I was like, no one's going to click on this. Financial sovereignty. Why has Iraq not emancipated financially from the grip of the U.S. Federal Reserve? And they kind of had an article like this, I think, last week. But this Look, the font is different. It's shorter, so maybe more people will feel comfortable reading this. But there's a word missing. This is how it starts. I mean, you can, always have the link here, so you can go there. But, and I'm not going to cover much, but that is witnessing. Iraq is witnessing increasing American pressure regarding a set of demands that it considers essential. So this is that one place where they put words out of order. I know. But if you're used to reading the articles, then you can kind of guess where the words should be. Okay? But another thing that's good about this is if there are citizens who want to read this, then they can see possibly that it's not just Sudani that's the holdup. And they even go into, so here it says, so why is Baghdad still subject to this financial arrangement 2 decades after you see this word here? But what do we say? Liberated. We went over there to liberate Iraq, right? But this is really what it was, but I'm not going to say that word. Okay? Why it can't receive its oil revenues directly as other oil producing countries do, and why have successive governments failed to free themselves from American financial hegemony. So then they go into history, but they even show how they took money to pay back Kuwait. They talk about that in here. Let me see. If you don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Here it is. A portion of those revenues was allocated to compensate Kuwait. So it's really, if you're one of those people that likes details and wants to know background, yeah, this would be an article to read. All right. Let's see. Yeah. And it's really not that long. It looks like it's long. Remember, I have this enlarged so people who are on like cell phones can see it better. All right, let's see. What's this one? The Kurdistan Ministry of Natural Resources calls on the government and international community to take action to protect the region's energy sector. And you would think they would ask for like the dome that Ice Cream Land has, or even the CRAM system. I mean, if we're going to be putting more money into Kurdistan, which it seems not just us, but other countries are, until we can fully eradicate the neighbor interfering, they do need some protection, right? But the cost, the time, and also that could be why Sudani's trying to get that second thing from South Korea, which look, we don't hear about that anymore either. So did we stop that or what, right? Anyway, so yeah, so if you'd like to support my FX buddies, which is me, right? This buy me a coffee will be a live link when this is no longer in preview mode. Cash App is always live at $ T as in Tom, I, S as in Sam, H, W, A, S, H, and then PayPal is there. All right. So many of these articles are the same, so we're going to skip them, right? But if you want to read them, because there was one that I wanted to get into, but here after the strike, DNO, which I think is the Norwegian oil company was like, all right, we're out of here. Stop production. And then here's more about, releasing salaries, but then they're saying, no, we didn't say that. So Sunday, this is the finance minister, Miss Sammy, because I don't know how to say her first name. She actually is going to go before, she's going to go before the Parliamentary Finance Committee, which is chaired by who? Atwana 20. Yes. She's going to go before them and answer questions, supposedly. I'm sure Sudani has told her what she can say and what she cannot say. So that'll be interesting. I'll be looking at that. And ExxonMobil in negotiations for job opportunities in Iraqi fields. And if I'm reading this right, because you guys know I have reading comprehension issues, they want more capacity, but also have to hire more Iraqis to give them jobs. I believe that's what this is saying, and that's a good thing. Okay, this is what, so here, matter of fact, you could skip all those other articles, in my opinion, and come read this one. Sabotage, the goal behind the scum strikes on KRG oil infrastructure. Outlaw militias are striking Kurdistan's oil fields with those things to sabotage its economy and undermine negotiations with Baghdad. So see, they know what's happening. The sabotage is the goal behind that, right? So that's why I'm saying don't get freaked out, because they're calling it out. They know what's going on. How are they going to stop it? I don't know. But at least it's not, Sadani's not saying I'm going to retaliate. He's saying I'm going to open an investigation, and that's great. So yeah, here, they're a continuation of previous attacks. Oops, well, whatever. And aim to increase pressure. So maybe this could be a good thing, right? It will put pressure on whoever's holding whatever up, right? Because, some people's money, if you start messing with their money or their investments, then they say, okay, let's stop playing around here and get this moving. All right. So, yeah. And this is a fairly easy read as well. But look, there were 7 aggressions in 72 hours. So see, they had been happening, but I didn't want to talk about it. And remember I was saying, oh, there's some things going on in the background, but let's not talk about it. Well, now it's to the point where you have to talk about it. But they have look, they gave the times, how many kablooies. So if you want to read, some people like to read details. I read the details. I don't like to read the details, but I did, because I don't like feeling like I'm missing a piece, right? I want the whole picture or the whole puzzle, whatever. So, yeah. So that's it. We're going to end here. Not really long. Like I said, matter of fact, I might even put Miles Kagan at the bottom. I will. I'll put this video at the bottom of this blog as well. It's 15 minutes, but it goes really fast, and he's enjoyable to watch, if that makes any sense. He speaks well. Oh, gosh, I hate when people say that, but he doesn't do the word salad thing. That's what I mean. His answers are direct, not diplomatic. You know how some people speak a whole lot of words, but they don't say anything? He doesn't do that. So it really sheds light on the situation if you don't understand. And then you don't have to read. You could just listen to him. All right. So I will say thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Twitter. Well, I guess it's not Twitter anymore. Followers. I really don't post a lot there. I post the videos the following morning. If there's something urgent, like, oh, I forgot to show you the rate. It closed again, 1397.5, but it's still just in the one. It's just in the one Baghdad office. But so that's 2 days in a row where they had a parallel market rate under 1400. So tomorrow's Thursday. We'll see what happens. I would love for it to go lower, like maybe 1350. Why not? Why not, Iraq? Let's go to 1350. But so yeah, if I see something like that, then I'll do a really quick post. But usually I just keep it all together and do one post, because your time's valuable, my time is valuable. So yeah. All right. So thank you. I hope you found this helpful. Things are good. I'm sure you saw what happened or heard about what Ice Cream Land did to Damascus. Totally. Whew, I don't know what the deal is with that. But it doesn't seem like it's going to hold up Iraq. They're not going to get involved. So, at least right now. So, even though that was a big mess, lots of innocence gone in an instant. I watched it. I was looking, and because they were supposed to do a planned implosion of a building in Basra, and so at first I thought that's what I was looking at, but I was like, they showed the news people like jumping out of their seats and running, and I was like, no, that's something different. This is different, and it was horrible, horrible, horrible. But we can't do anything about things we can't do anything about, right? That's why someone created that serenity prayer. But anyway, all right. Thank you. Thank you. Likes the last video, even though it had fewer views. 221 likes. Woohoo! Thank you. You guys are awesome. So yeah, do that. And then also at 11 minutes and 11 seconds, what happens? The little icon pops up and you just tap on that and you very easily subscribe. All right, so accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. Yeah, thank you. And I'm not gonna say about following and all that stuff. We'll save that for another time. But I will say, enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are indulging in this content. And until next time, which will probably be tomorrow about the same time.